so good. And the way he's just like,
Yeah.
we are just about peace and love and unity. And just for one night, can't we just all be together and be friends and be one family?
And donuts. We sell donuts.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Blood and Donuts. I'm Tony.
And I'm Chris. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, what's up? Here at the Blood and Donuts podcast, we start by sharing an overview, facts, and our first impressions. Then, Chris and I will give our donut rating. Then, we will go in a scene-by-scene discussion that's full of spoilers, but don't worry. We'll let you know before we do that. Chris, tell them how our donut rating even works.
So we rate our movies on a scale of 1 through 13 donuts. A 1 through 4 is terrible. We won't recommend that one to you at all, so don't go check that one out. 5 through 8, that's kind of like a mid-range. It's worth a watch if you have time. It's not terrible, but it's not great. A 9 through 12 is great. You would definitely want to check out a 9 through 12, even if you need to rent it. And Tony, 13, that's our Baker's Dozen tier. That's pretty rare, but we would consider that a perfect horror film, maybe even discussion of best of all time.
Sinners is a 2025 supernatural horror film produced, written, and directed by Ryan Coogler. Set in 1932 in the Mississippi Delta, criminal twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, where they are confronted by a supernatural evil.
And man, there was some evil in here. I just wish I saw more evil. If I had a gripe, which we'll get into our gripes and stuff, I just wish there was more Remmick, more vampire, more stalking and stuff like that. But it almost felt like a little bit of a more action based than horror. Did you kind of get that?
Well, I think the studio kind of like marketed it as a horror film, like a full-on monster film. I remember seeing the trailer, and it had Haley Steinfeld, who is sitting where she's got blood running down her face, and she goes, we're gonna kill every last one of you. And that's what I remember from that movie. But you're right, this movie, and even I don't know if I like it's so many genres. This movie, it's a gangster film, it's a cultural piece. It's, it's like The Color Purple meets Oh Brother, Where Art Thou meets vampire movie. You know, there's like so many.
From
Dusk Till Dawn. There's lots of, and I think Coogler did a good job with a lot of. I think it's what's cool about it, Chris, is it's original. You know what I mean? I mean, like, we got on here. There's so many movies that are just bleh bleh bleh. This movie is so different from any of those, and it was a huge success. Critics are loving it. Audiences are loving it, and but it does feel weird to kind of rate it as a horror film, because I feel like it's I feel like it's even bigger than what we are. This little, you know, like we're like to rate it beside Halloween and Friday the 13th and Freddy Krueger.
It's like Totally Killer was a comedy before it was a horror movie.
Yes.
But you know what I mean? So it's one of those kind of where it's more of a different genre than horror.
Yeah.
But it's still a great movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from the movie itself, but it just wasn't a horror movie just per se.
Yeah, but I think it's a great movie. I was very entertained throughout the whole thing. But the horror elements did not even pick up till about 50 minutes in. So it spends that first half of that movie just kind of setting up the whole thing. You do get that getting shot. I don't want to go into that. We'll talk about that in spoilers even more when we break down the scene by scene, which kind of sets up the whole movie. So it has you anticipating horror. But it's really about the culture of that time, being a black person in the 1930s, trying to set up a juke joint and during Jim Crow laws type of stuff. And I think, with the costume pieces, the cars, the atmosphere, cinematography looks great. The actors are great. So they really sell you on 1930s. So in the dirty South. And I felt like it, you know what I mean? As a man from Tennessee, it felt like all of those Michael B. Jordan played two different parts. He played Smoke and Stack. How'd you feel about that?
I'll be honest. It was like about 15 to 20 minutes into the movie, and I was like, I pulled up IMDb. I was like, okay, it is the same guy. Like he plays two different guys so well. No, I'm joking there, but really, he did a fantastic job just playing two different types of guy.
Yeah.
Like you could tell he had to do some major research or something, but he did a fantastic job playing two different siblings who are just totally different from each other, but love each other and have like the same kind of motives and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really good. And just not only him, but the other actors too did really good.
Yeah, but well done how they spliced those together and just made it look seamless. You know what I mean? Like how do you even do that? Like
they're like passing a cigarette back and forth to each other, and it's like, whoa, how do you do that?
That's so
the different like Irish culture and like the Choctaw culture, like all that kind of stuff. They really did some research and brought those kind of elements together.
Grossed $365 million worldwide on a $90 million budget. So very impressive. Wow. Everything in theaters nowadays is kind of like a recycled idea. When you think about like Superman, all these huge hits are always recycled ideas. So to come out with a horror film that is an original idea, obviously Coogler wrote this, produced it, did all that thing, and it just it blew up. And you have to talk about the music in this movie as well. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, I thought it was great through the whole thing. I mean, every time like Remmick was singing or
Miles Ketton. In his film debut. Yeah,
he did great. He had a great voice.
Yeah.
And it looked like, I mean, he could really play the guitar and all that stuff. It was really, really good there. And this big Irish dance in the middle of the movie too. Mm-hmm. Like all those scenes were really fun. What about that shot throughout the barn where it's showing all the different types of cultures and genre?
Yeah, that
music.
Yeah, that's one of the most memorable shots of the movie. Is they kind of they allude in the beginning of the film that there's these musician types in all cultures, and it talked about the Choctaw, it talked about Irish, and it went through all these cultures, and of course in the Black community that can kind of transcend and conjure spirits from the past and the present. But they also bring in evil spirits as well. So, and that's what you're seeing. You saw all these musicians from the past and from the present in this one really cool scene, and the way it pans around and the roof like kind of goes on fire and stuff. It's a really cool scene of how he did that. And and I had chills when that was going on. That was really cool.
Liked it.
Pick that robin clean. You want to pick that robin clean? Okay, sorry.
I picked his head, I picked his feet. I would have picked his body, but it wouldn't fit to eat.
Did you know this was a vampire movie going into it?
I didn't know it was a vampire movie going forward or going into it, and you can't really tell from like the cover art either. It just has like, you know, our two main characters, Smoke and Stack, played by it just has one. It looks like it's Smoke in the box art, and it just looks like it has a sun behind him and some people standing behind him. So you can't really tell at all that it's a vampire. Now, from the trailer that you saw where the lady has blood all over her face, it's like, okay, that's probably a vampire or a zombie or something. I think my wife asked, she's like, are they vampires or are they zombies? And I was like, I'm pretty sure they're vampires.
Yeah.
Like you still turn the same way or, you know, similar way, but, you know.
That's true. And I didn't know it was a vampire movie either. I just saw I saw her Seinfeld with, you know, she's a monster type, demon type. Even we watched a lot of demon movies and just like blood coming down. I didn't know that they were vampires. Per se, until they started like passing garlic around and all that stuff.
Right. And it had a lot of different, like, you know, the folklore of the vampires too, like they can't come in unless you ask them in and things like that. So
yeah, I like that.
Which has some pretty funny parts later in the movie too, where the guy's like, just let me in. And they're like, you've been in and out here all night. What
yes.
He's like, just let me in.
that guy, Cornbread, and then there's another guy, Delroy Lindo, played as Delta Slim. They're like they're the comic relief, and they were awesome. Delroy Lindo, his part as the drunk who comes in, and the blues player, he is hilarious, and he's really well acted for a small part. I mean, just very well acted.
Yeah, good choice for soccer. And Omar Miller was Cornbread.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, he was like kind of the doorman bouncer of this juke joint. It looks like there's not going to be a sequel because Ryan Coogler said that he wanted this movie to feel like a full meal where you have everything just presented. So he really got all of his ideas for this movie out there. So there's not really. I mean, they left a little bit of cliffhanger or whatever, but. It sounds like there's not going to be a Sinners.
Sinners is Sinners too. Sinners. Yeah.
Right.
I don't even know how he did. The costumes from Marvel's Blade. The film repurposed 1920 style costumes originally made for the postponed Blade reboot. How about that fact for you?
Weird. I didn't see that one anywhere. That's a good one.
I know.
I would say that I enjoyed about 75% of this movie. The other 25% felt like a little bit filler, a little bit unnecessary, but I think the film did a great job of building the characters, telling a story with great acting, likable characters. There's a lot to love, and the direction really made you root for these characters. Like, it spent a lot of time building up these characters and where they're from and their struggles, and things like that. So it really made you enjoy the characters themselves. I just wanted more horror, and that's where we kind of had a little disconnect. I guess this is maybe an action first, then a horror on the side. There's a few cutaway deaths where I was like, man, I would have really liked to have seen that kill.
Yeah, they,
You know
they
what I mean?
really
Like,
didn't go really hard with the gore on this.
There's a few parts there at towards the middle, but like when it was first stalking and creeping, it was just like, man, I wanted to see him float more or something.
Yeah.
They kind of cut away right at the really good parts, and I was like, man, I've spent like an hour to get here, and you cut away. Like, damn, like give me a little bit more. And the end of the movie felt a little bit rushed too. There was a few parts where like I totally forgot about the juke joint, who they bought the juke joint from, and then he came back at the end of the movie, and I was like, I forgot that guy was even there. I spent all this time learning about everybody else, but I did like a lot more than I disliked. So I'm actually going to give this movie a 9 out of 13 for Sinners.
That's fair. I have a mostly positive review. I do my couple of gripes. I'm just going to go ahead and share those. That end scene, that end battle scene that you talked about, it seemed rushed. It seemed like it was just out of nowhere. Like we had all this tension. We're building up to this. Then all of a sudden, the Chinese woman was
somebody says go and let
she's like go, and then it's just like a mad rush inside that. So that felt a little rushed to me. I did like the battle itself, but I was just like, man, we spent all this time here. Like, why are we just going to pull the string and just do it right here? But is what it is. And here's my review. I really enjoyed this movie. I think the studio made a misstep by marketing Sinners as a straight up horror film because it's so much more than that. It's rare for a film to evoke memories of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, The Thing, The Color Purple, Crossroads, Get Out, all at once. It's a wild mix, but somehow Sinners pulls it off. There are some deeply compelling elements at play here. The performance across the board are excellent, and the soundtrack is incredible. One standout moment is the live music scene. We talked about that, where the main characters conjure spirits from the past and present. It's a very powerful scene. Ryan Coogler does an outstanding job capturing the American South in the 1930s. I talked about that. From the visuals to the atmosphere, it felt like I was there. When the horror elements do finally show up, they're strong, but this movie isn't easy to box in with classics like Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, that kind of horror. Instead, Sinners is a powerful genre blending piece of cinema that I would still recommend to a wide range of audiences, Chris, not just horror fans. It's bold, it's creative, and it's full of soul. I give Sinners a 10 out of 13. We're very close on that. Very close. But Sinners, like as far as like Rotten Tomatoes goes, this might be one of the highest rated movies that we have ever done.
Wow.
I'm talking 97, 98% on both sides. Wow. So people absolutely love this film. And did you notice the IMAX bars like kind of like disappearing at one point on your screen? So anyway, it was shot in IMAX. So I bet the movie theater experience of this movie was a lot better too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
When you're hearing all the sounds around and stuff, and I noticed even like some of the outside crickets and stuff like that, and just the music. I bet that very powerful conjure up spirits there in the room was a very powerful when you had a surround sound movie theater experience in IMAX. Probably 100 times better in movie theater. Than me just watching it in my living room.
Yeah, I agree. Because I even heard something. I was kind of watching another video about it today, and I guess when Delta Slim was telling his story, there was like sound effects in the background of like his brother getting, killed and things like that. And I was like, I didn't even hear that on the TV version.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bet you could definitely pick that up in the theaters. But yeah, really good sound design too. And as you said, the
Another
music is
thing that
beautiful.
we're probably not going to hit on, and you kind of said this, there's so many Easter eggs. There's so
It's so
many,
deep.
there's so many layers. I've watched 6 explain videos on YouTube. I watched hours of explain videos. There's so many layers. There's so many things that you can pull from this movie. Symbolism.
Yeah.
And all of these things, and it's we're going to try to touch on a few of these during the scene by scene. But it's very impressive that it's one of those movies that you want to kind of go back. And this, I could see this being a lot of people's favorite movie, like one of those movies that you like. I just love because it's kind of genius when you dig into what he did here. It's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of symbolism, a lot of cultural references and things like that you may not pick up on your first watch. So
Definitely
probably worth watching it again.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Seeing if you can catch more.
Yeah. Well, it is free, kind of free on Max and the Max app. So that's where I watched it. I guess you watched it there as well.
Yep, same. I think we were going to watch it, and then I was like, hang on a second. It's coming out on Max on the 4th,
so we waited one more day and watched it there. So if you haven't seen it, go do yourself a favor and watch it before we spoil it. Here's the spoilers. 1932, twin brothers Elijah Smoke Moore and Elias Stack Moore returned to their hometown of Clarksdale, Mississippi, after spending time in Chicago, Illinois. They have amassed a considerable sum of money working for the mob there, and they make a deal with a local Clarksdale landowner named Hogwood to purchase an abandoned sawmill to turn it into a juke joint. The two brothers warn Hogwood that they're willing to defend their property from the Klan if necessary, but the old man claims they're overreacting. The Klan, there ain't no Klan no more, he says.
With a name like Hogwood, why would you even think he's in the Klan? I mean, come on.
We're gonna be. My name is Hogwood. He seems like a stand-up guy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he seems like he was in the bag scene from Django Unchained.
Yeah,
like,
that's the truth.
He was there.
That's the truth.
Oh shit! I messed up my bag. Hang on a second.
This cuts out. This cuts out the opening scene. We talked about that.
It does, yeah. In the opening scene, you kind of get young Sammie here, and he looks really beat up, and he's driving a car.
Scratches on his face.
You just see a guy driving a car, and he arrives at this church, and he's getting out, and you can see that he's bloody.
Yeah,
he's holding like part of a guitar. And it's showing flashes of maybe the final battle or something that's going to happen in the future. And then he walks into a church, and it looks like it's his dad is the preacher there. And his dad is like, Sammie's back, thank God. Here, tell me you're going to renounce your ways and get rid of this blues music and just
let go of the music. But he's just gripping on
the
all that's left is like a neck of the guitar, and he's like gripping onto it. And then it cuts to a day previous where you have the twins here leaned up against a car outside of a old sawmill, but it looks just like a barn to me. I don't really know, but they just and it does feel like a shady transaction is going down.
Yeah, I could. I mean, you could tell. I mean, you just don't get the good vibes from Hogwood,
right? Right,
the guy named Hogwood,
and leading up to this juke joint and this very bad night that they are going to have, there seems to be lots of warning signs, including a rattlesnake here in a couple of minutes. You know what I mean? Lots of where they probably shouldn't do this thing, but they go through it anyway. There's lots of signs that this is not going to go well, but they don't really listen. One of the brothers is he can't light his own cigarettes, like shaking a little bit. Which
I believe that would be Stack.
So Stack, right. And so Smoke has to like light it for him. They were both in the war in World War I. Then they came back, and apparently back in the day when the black folks returned from World War I, they were they thought they would get a hero's welcome. Well, they were treated like crap, and so a lot of them just turned into like gangsters and did the to make money and make ends meet, and that's what these two did. And it alludes to the fact that maybe one was in like an Italian gangster mob, and then maybe one was in an Italian mob, and it seems like they both kind of robbed their respected mobs and came together here.
Yeah, and then ran back to Clarksdale, Mississippi. But you can tell, I mean, it's really acted really well when you have these two brothers who their personalities are so different.
Yeah.
You have Smoke is like the calm and collective one.
Yeah.
And then you have, and he seems like more like a planner. And then you have Stack, who's a little bit more reckless,
Yeah.
a little bit more fun and outgoing. And because it looks like Stack wants to open this thing tonight. Like he wants to start the juke joint tonight. And Smoke is like, hang on a second. Like we got to make sure everything's right. And he's like, trust me, figure it out. So you can, it's a lot of good personality differences between the two.
Yeah.
You really can't say enough about how well Michael B. Jordan acted.
Yeah. They had a stand-in when he was shooting each of the guys. They would have a stand-in to kind of like do the mannerisms, so he had someone to like kind of talk to and interact with.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
With plans to open the juke joint the very evening, the twins next pay a visit to their uncle Jedediah and recruit his son Sammie to play his guitar at the joint. Jedediah does not approve, but Sammie goes along, promising to return for the Sunday service the next morning. The trio next retrieve a truck that the twins hid before the rendezvous with Hogwood and then split up. Stack takes their car and Sammie during the ride. Sammie plays a tune for his cousin, and Stack's very impressed by his talent. Their travels take them to a local train station where they recruit local musician Delta Slim.
Delta Slim. Just some more character gathering here. It's just building up to this big night. And this part of the movie is really fun. I mean, you're just learning to get to know these characters and a little bit of their backgrounds. And it gets into some pretty deep stuff between their backgrounds and all their struggles and stuff like that. So it really just makes them super likable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think.
Absolutely. And I love in particular the interaction between Sammie and his preacher dad, and how he's saying a scripture, and he's I think it's from Corinthians, and it was like, you won't be tempted beyond any evil that you cannot handle. And God will always give you an out, something like that. But Sammie kind of takes over and he knows it by heart already. He goes, I know.
He shuts the book.
Yeah, he goes, I know all of those things. I just love my music. And the dad says something really cool. He goes, you keep playing around with the devil. One of these days he's going to follow you home. And that's one of the coolest quotes from the movie. I was just like, dang. Yeah. All right. So
just don't let him in, dude.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. So very cool.
Hey, what was it in The Dark and the Wicked? He wasn't trying to get in. He was just like, why don't you come outside?
Why don't you come outside? She goes, she don't even believe in that. He goes, do you think a wolf cares if you believe in him? Not if he finds you alone in the woods. Classic. I just love little quotes like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so good. It makes that's good in a horror movie. You really want that. Yeah. You meet Delta Slim here. Delta Slim is a drunk alcoholic. That's all and he's so funny, but he's kind of full of wisdom as well. And I love his little conversation talking about how, if I go with you, I have a job down at this other bar, which I get to play there every Friday night or whatever it is. And I've been doing it for 10 years. They're going to be open for another 10 years. I'm going to go with you. I don't even know if you'll be open tomorrow or the next day. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just really cool with that conversation. And then he gets in the car and they're like passing these guys on a chain gang and everything. And he knows every single one of them. He's just a good storyteller. You're getting lots of stories here, lots of symbolism about sin and regret and all of these things and the road that these folks have gone down and the path that they could have went on, I guess. And just really cool symbolism. During this time, Sammie's intrigued by a married woman named Perline, whom he invites to the joint. Stack gets into a tight spot when a former lover of his named Mary confronts him. Though now married, she confesses that she still has feelings for him. Following these events, the three men head out into the cotton fields to recruit a man named Cornbread to be their doorman for the evening. Meanwhile, Smoke takes the truck into town where he makes a deal with a local Chinese grocers, Grace and Bo Chow, to supply food and to paint a sign for the juke joint.
Man, I wish that Grace and Bo had a little bit more screen time in the end there.
Yeah.
I really like their characters.
Yeah, they were really cool.
It's almost, it's like each character you meet is just like the employees there. Like one of them's gathered supplies, the other one's going to be cooking, the other one's going to be the doorman, the other one's going to be or it's the musicians or something. So everybody else in this movie, other than these people that they're recruiting right now, is just kind of zombie fodder
Yeah.
or vampire fodder.
Well, so you got Perlin, who is kind of like Sammie's first temptation, a married woman, off limits, and you already see him.
He just goes straight forward.
That's what I'm saying. You already see him falling for it, and you're just like, dude, what did we just talk about?
Yeah, like you just sat down at the strip club. Don't take the first one that comes to you, man.
And then you got Mary, who is Smoke's lover.
Ex-wife, ex-lover, yeah.
And she's kind of mad at them because they didn't bring flowers or anything for her mom's funeral, and she alludes to the fact that their mom probably kind of like raised them,
pretty much raised them, yeah.
And so you meet those two characters. She's kind of a white person, and and Sammie even says there's a white lady looking at you. Turns out like her dad was like half black or something. That will kind of play into a little bit later. She's one of the first captured by Remmick. And it may be because of her white ancestry that he was able to maybe trance her a little bit easier than the others. I'm guessing. I'm not sure.
Or she's like, hey, I can go offer my, I'll at least go listen to what they have to say.
Yeah.
Versus if you guys go out there, it's it's going to look kind of weird. So she kind of bridges the gap between vampire and human, even though she doesn't know it.
Yeah. And so Smoke takes the truck into town, and he has a little girl like kind of watch it. Talk about that scene a little bit, because you get to see two sides of Smoke here, right?
Yeah. So Smokey, he's gonna he just needs to go in the store, and he just gets this girl off the street, and he's like, hey, I want you to sit in this truck and lay on this horn if somebody stares at it for too long. He's like, I'll give you 20 cents every minute I'm in there. And she goes, okay. And he's like, no, don't never accept the first offer. He's like, you should have bargained with me.
Right.
He's like, I'll give you whatever it was, like 35 cents every minute I'm in there.
Yeah.
And so she's like, okay. And then sure enough, he's in there for like 30 seconds, and then she lays on the horn. And then he comes out and he like knows the guys who's robbing him, and he still shoots
You got to shoot him in the leg. He's like, I can't let anybody know that the twins were in town and we let you get by on us,
Yeah. He's like, how am I supposed to walk around town and people just know that I'll let y'all skive off me or whatever? And then shoots the other guy in the ass.
Yeah. But he does pay for the dude's medical care inside. He goes, really nice. Here's some money to patch him up. You know what I mean? So it's a
lovable gangster.
He's a lovable killer. You got to like that. He next pays a visit to his estranged lover, Annie, after paying his respects to their deceased daughter. He gives Annie a mojo bag that she gave to him years ago for protection. After doing some hoodoo to strengthen its protective powers, Smoke asks Annie to come to the joint to help out at the bar and fry up some catfish. She eventually agrees, and the two share a tender moment before heading out. A tender moment, Chris.
It didn't seem too tender to me, am I right?
It looked like he bent her over and hiked that skirt up is what he did.
It did look like that. I had to clean the screen off on my TV to make sure that's what was going on, but I think that's what happened.
So she's kind of like a voodoo,
like a witch doctor voodoo.
Yeah, from like Louisiana, like New Orleans type of like witchcraftery type of stuff, voodoo like stuff. She's over there like messing. Some people come by to get some remedies for like medicine, and she gives it to them. And
he wears a thing of mojo around his neck.
And she said it's that mojo that has protected them for so long during their travels and all this stuff. And then he looks at her and says, "Then why didn't it protect my baby?"
Super sad, man. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Yeah, really sad. And you can tell they still kind of like have feelings for each other or love each other.
By the way, he bent her over.
Other than that scene.
They do have good chemistry. They do have good chemistry.
It's more complex than that.
Yeah, they do have a good chemistry. Meanwhile, in a small shack, married couple Bert and Joan are surprised when a man named Remmick, played by Jack O'Connell, comes to their door claiming to be chased by Choctaw Indians. The couple hide the man, with Joan driving off a group of Choctaws at gunpoint. Once they leave, she finds Remmick has turned her husband into a vampire and soon shares his fate.
And it looked like he kind of looked over and saw that they had like clan paraphernalia.
Yes.
What's the word? Clan.
Yeah, that's good. Paraphernalia. Let's go with that. Yeah, there was like a hood in there.
There's like a hood and robe and stuff. And he's like, so he uses that kind of as a way to get in there as well. He's like, hey, these Choctaw Indians are after me. And so and then they're like, okay, well, we'll shelter you from them because we don't like them. So he kind of sees that and plays on their beliefs, I guess, if you will, to get in the house.
Remmick is kind of like a chameleon, and he gives off the vibes that he is able to do things like that. He can like he even vibes very well at the shack with the black folks as well. When he's singing, "Pick That Robin Clean."
I picked his feet. I picked his body, but at 150 each. You better pick old Robin clean. Old Robin clean.
Song, from back in the day. So, so I mean that like, he's a chameleon. He's getting chased by the Choctaws because he probably was summoned there by a spiritual musician. For the Indian, and he was trying to take them. These look like some type of vampire hunter Choctaw Indians.
They look like they were legit.
Yeah, they seem like they were down to business, and they were chasing him in. But he said he has a good quote too. It's something like, "God forbid you let him into your house," or something like that.
Yeah, God help you if you.
God help you if you let him in. And that's
and
great.
I really wish they had brought them back at the end versus the ending that we got. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, I would have loved the Choctaws to come in and help. That would have been great.
Bring it full circle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of the ending that we got where he just like magically gets stabbed at the end. I'm like, dude, have something else happen. Like, wait, he really snuck by all those vampires at the end? Come on.
Yeah. He took some liberty there. Yeah, it took a little bit of liberty there, and he took a little bit.
That's what felt rushed about it. Like, he could have at least brought back those guys and had them finish their hunt. I think that I would have liked to see Jack O'Connell in some more horror. I thought he did a really good job as a horror character, as a vampire, like his emotions and his acting and stuff. I would like to see him in other stuff if he's going to stay in the genre.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Jack O'Connell as Remmick, that character is so good. And the way he's just like, we are just about peace and love and unity. And just for one night, can't we just all be together and be friends and be one family? He's just like, he seems like such a sweet, charismatic guy, but he's so.
Like, we're going to walk away real slow in case you change your mind.
I love that. He goes, okay, we're going to leave, but we're going to walk real slow just in case you change your mind. Oh, so good. So yeah, he actually kills this husband and obviously takes her as well. And this is like 50 minutes in. This is 50 minutes in. So you're finally getting this. You're like, okay, all right, here we go. Some horror elements. Eventually the sun sets and the juke joint is officially open for business. However, things quickly get testy when the brothers argue over some people paying with plantation tokens, which can only be used at stores the local cotton plantation owns, which Smoke soon estimates will eat heavily in their planned profits. Things also get testy when Mary shows up. Stack orders her to leave, but she refuses, claiming that she wishes to be with her family and friends.
Yeah, and that's a nice way to let the vampires in later on.
Absolutely.
They say they have money to spend, and then Mary kind of says, "Well, what kind of money?" And he's like, "Solid gold kind."
Oh yeah,
and shows her the coin. So she's like, "Well, obviously we're going to let these guys in now. So
we're going to make this money."
Yeah. So it was a really good kind of. It made them kind of want to go back out and at least talk to the vampires. Of course, they didn't know they were vampires at the time, but made them want to go back out and reconsider with Remmick and his little crew.
One more thing about Mary, it alludes to the fact that Smoke wanted to be with her. Am I correct in Smoke or Stack?
Stack wanted to be with her.
It alludes to the fact that Stack wanted to be with her, but knew that her being white, him being black, that kind of, it wouldn't have been the best kind of life for her.
Yeah.
So it alludes to the fact that she's married to a rich white man.
They brought that up. Yeah. Yes. Smoke is the one with the estranged wife, Annie, who he tenderly bent over.
Yes.
Stack is the one with Mary. Yeah.
I'm going to get that right eventually. Or you can just keep reminding me. There's a fly.
There's only an hour and 50 minutes left.
There's a fly right on my skeleton head there. Anyway, Sammie also receives a surprise when he sees Perlin show up, and soon he gets to perform for her as he and Slim play a tune. The song proves to be so full of life that it seems to transcend time. Something in what Sammie is playing permeates through every soul in the juke joint. Following the performance, Remmick, Bert, and Joan show up at the front door of the joint, asking to come in and join the party. They claim that they want to play music for the crowds and are willing to pay, but Smoke refuses to let them in.
And we talked about it, but a really cool shot that just kind of walked around and showed just the different generations of that cultural music, from like, West African tribe dancing to like DJs spinning discs and
So
stuff.
cool.
It was really a cool shot there.
Yeah.
And then, this is where you kind of first really get Remmick and them at the door, and they're playing the song for him, and it's really, really creepy. It really amps up the creepy around this time.
Yeah, it really does. And Remmick makes his real wants known a little bit later when he says, "We're here for Sammie." Sammie can conjure spirits. Sammie can conjure spirits from past and future, which alludes to the fact that Remmick could probably thinks he can communicate with some of his past relatives that probably died. You know what I mean? Because he's been here for a really long time. So
about like 1,000 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Sammie wants to, Remmick wants Sammie to be in his group because he knows that he can conjure these spirits, and he has this power where he can communicate with the past and the present because the music transcends.
And it seems like, we didn't really talk about it, but every person that Remmick turns into a vampire, he knows all of their secrets and all of their history and all of like what they know.
All their
so
thoughts,
it's like one big conglomerate ball of information that Remmick is. Then he can use that to turn, individuals against their families and things like that to just kind of make him stronger.
Yeah.
It almost makes you wonder like what the hell he was doing right when he showed up and the Choctaws were right on his tail, Like he just fell right out of the sky, and he was like close to death, and he finally got into a house.
Right. I think it was daylight too, so he was smoking.
It was daylight.
He was smoking, so it was getting a little too. He was out and about at the wrong time, and I
they don't really give you any backdrop of why he was there at that time.
We have no idea.
It looks like the Choctaws were like right there and about to kill him.
Oh yeah, he right at the last minute they let him in. Thank goodness, you know what I mean? Or he would have been gone, and there wouldn't be all this death and destruction.
Yeah.
Following this confrontation, Stack confides in Mary about his and Smoke's financial situation. Wanting to help, Mary goes to talk to the three who have not gone far. They show her some strange gold coins, but when Remmick reveals what he is, she requests that they leave, but is also turned into a vampire by him. Mary then returns to the joint after getting Cornbread to let her in. She then seduces Stack with a dance and pulls him into a side room, where she promptly bites his neck, making him bleed out.
How was she able to seduce him? No, I'm kidding. She was hot. But like, show me way more of the whenever she was walking away and he like floated up and like went right at her.
That was so cool. Yeah.
That was such a good. I like looked over at the wife. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. That looked
horror. Good. Did you see it?
Yeah. Like you're excited about it. Yeah, I knew it was coming.
But I thought that was really cool. And then Cornbread, his ass didn't know. He's like, well, come on in. Like, I don't know why you needed to ask me, but come in. Like, whatever.
And her seducing him was like, she was like, so you can steal. She said you could steal beer and steal all the. I don't know. She said all this, but you can't steal a piece of P word. I'm not gonna say it anyway.
For one night.
Yeah.
I looked over the wife on that one too, and I was like.
Did you go? But so Remmick is talking to Mary outside, and he's getting real excited. He's starting to drool a little bit, and he has this red gleam in his eye every now and then. I thought that was a cool choice, as opposed to just showing his vampire all the time.
Yeah, and when she went out to greet them, they were sitting there. They weren't walking away still, but they were sitting there playing some slow, sad Irish song.
Oh yeah,
right. And there was a lot. There was a lot of inspiration for that too, from just an old. What the song means to the Irish people is like kind of what it meant for Remmick too. So they really drew a lot of historical references with all the music they got and stuff. So
I heard one commentary say that when they came to the door and they were using black music, that was kind of misappropriated. So they were, pick that Robin clean, pick that Robin clean. That they were kind of like that's pretty good, but no. You don't belong here. Like that, it didn't sit right with him. But when they were playing their own music of, Irish descent, that it kind of drew Mary out there. You know what I mean? It actually worked better. So I think that's the. And I don't know if that's what they were doing purposefully or anything like that. But I just heard one commentary on that, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, like we said, you could go watch other YouTube videos, and there's just so many deep dives and everything on this that that'll really let you know that this movie's really deep and layered, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
I've seen so many people go so many different ways with this. I was like, oh, some of them I rolled my eyes at, but some of them were really good. Smoke soon comes across the grisly scene and, without thinking twice, opens fire on Mary. Moments later, she rises up off the ground, laughingly rushes out of the building. Smoke tries to save his brother, but Stack's wounds are too severe. Following these events, they lock Stack's body in the storage room and they stop the festivities, telling the guests to leave. Bo Chow also heads out to start up his family's car.
Man, don't go, Bo. Like, really? Everybody else is, they're dead. But fun fact, Mary could have killed every single one of them while she was in there. Why did she leave?
Yeah,
I don't get invited back in. She killed Stack already. She could have waited for him to turn, and then they both got it, and then Remmick gets what he wants or whatever.
Maybe she's in there because you see at the end that she's not fully out of her mind, right? So she has kept some sensibilities about her, it seems. So maybe she had got her blood fix at that point, and she didn't want to kill anybody else. But she did. She got up with a bloody face. She said, "We're going to eat every single one of you, or we're going to kill everyone." So you're right.
And then she's like, "Hee," and then runs away.
Because at that point, they didn't know about the garlic. They didn't know about the wooden stakes or anything like that.
Right.
The only chance of her getting killed was if Annie came out of nowhere. No, because she's a spiritualist, so she might have known just to stab her with a stake. You know. During this time, Slim has taken over door duties from Cornbread as he went out to take a leak. Cornbread soon reappears, but he's asked to be let in. The others find this strange behavior and they refuse when Cornbread asks for his payment. Smoke hands the money through the open doorway before Cornbread attempts to bite his arm, resulting in Smoke shooting the man upon seeing him still moving. Those inside the joint lock the front door. That's a cool, funny scene right here with Cornbread.
Yeah, and I liked the trope that, he's has to be asked to let in.
Yeah, I love that.
He can't get in unless somebody says, yes, come in.
Yes.
So it's a really cool, trick that, and that goes back, way back in the vampire folklore and stuff a long time ago. That's one of those things where, werewolves and full moons and vampires being asked to be let in is one of their things.
Absolutely. And you can tell Coogler was a Thing fan because you see the Thing written all over this when you see who's got it. We're in the secluded place. We got to find out who's got it. And instead of a blood test, they do the garlic test and everything, which is, I thought that was a nice salute to the Thing. One of my favorite horror movies.
Yeah. God, I can't believe we rated it anything other than a 13. I'll be honest with you. If we could go back in time, I would change it. But really cool. Really good inspiration from that movie too. And this place just is it's secluded now. It's cut off from the outside world. It's out in the middle of Clarksdale, Mississippi somewhere.
Yes.
Maybe close to Tunica. We don't know. I would like to do some research on that. So they're secluded. They're not sure if somebody's already been bit or whatever.
Yeah. And the numbers are just growing outside. I mean, it started off with 3. Now, it felt like they were up against a no-win situation, which they kind of are.
Yeah, for sure. And back what you were saying too, that this is a really funny back and forth between the people inside and Cornbread. And they're like, "Why you've been out of here 10 times today? Why are you asking to be let in now? What are you talking about?"
And Cornbread said, he goes, "It be your own people too." That was so good. I just thought that was so funny. And when he put his money up for the payment, he put it up way back here like this.
Yeah. He's like,
he goes, "Well, fine then. I'll go home." He goes, "Well, can I at least get paid?" and he threw it back like way back here. Oh man, they were like, please be careful.
And then he's still like handed the money to him. It was really
It
funny.
was so good. It was so good. Suddenly, Stack's voice is heard from the storeroom demanding to be let out. Annie cautions Smoke not to before Stack bursts through the door. She then throws some water with garlic on him, scalding Stack and sending him rushing out the front door. It's soon revealed that Remmick has turned all those who were left the joint some time ago, along with Bo. Remmick claims that he is mainly there to claim Sammie, and that his musical skills may be able to help him connect to something he has been searching for. He also tries to entice the others, claiming that becoming vampires will give them a connection and a belonging that the living world denies them, which is kind of true, Chris, isn't it?
Yeah, that's very true. And my bad. It looks like Stack is the one who got the garlic juice thrown on him. I thought it was Mary, but anyway. But yeah, and really, I keep saying I sound like a friggin' broken record, but the way Michael acts here is really good too, because he's like, he's got this brother who he loves and stuff. And it's one of those things that makes you wonder like what you would do in that situation.
Yeah.
If you're in that kind of environment and something happens, you got to figure out, do they turn? Are they going to turn? Should we kill them or whatever? And then that's when I think Annie tells Smoke like, hey, if I start to turn, just kill me.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead and stake me in the heart.
Because I don't want to be stuck here. I want to meet our baby on the other side.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Stack, that knowledge, that hive mentality that you get when you are a vampire, Stack kind of gets all the knowledge, and he realizes, he goes, guess what? We were doomed from the get-go. The guy who sold us this, and he's a KKK member. He's going to come kill us. He's done this many times before.
The killing floor. Yeah.
So the killing floor. So there at the beginning, remember they go in, they said for an abandoned building, this place sure is clean. They touch the floor and stuff like that. So apparently this is something that he's done before. He sells the bar and takes the cash, then comes back the next day and kills him and takes it. So Stack is like, why? Like, we're always going to be playing. We're always going to be down. We're always going to be downtrodden. This is not
odds are stacked against us.
It's stacked against us always. But here we can live forever as vampires. We never age. We're all powerful. All this stuff. This is a good option.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes you think.
Smoke is adamant for those inside will not hand over Sammie, and Grace grows frightened where her husband, who has turned, claims he is willing to turn their daughter, Lisa. Following the talk, Smoke believes that if they kill Remmick, everyone else, including Stack, will be saved. However, Annie reveals it doesn't work like that. Anyone who is turned must be killed by sunlight or a stake through the heart, but they are now truly dead. The goal becomes to hold out until dawn, but Remmick and his followers begin to make horrifying sounds, eventually causing Grace to snap and demand that they all come and get them.
And they rushed it.
Yeah. Why did she do that?
Like, it was like all build up in tension for like an hour, 50 minutes, and then all of a sudden, like it takes one crazy day to go, just come and get us. And it's like, no, don't do it that way. But I mean, you had to make a stand at some point, but maybe you could have singled him out or something like, hey, only him, let him in.
Yeah. It just,
but not all of you come and get
it. Just seemed like there was like 4 left and there was like 37 vampires.
Right. And there's a little bit of continuation. I spent the last eighth of this movie like looking up who all was at the last stand, because I think they threw an extra in there. So they have this circle of people taking garlic, right? And I would have loved it if it was like, have you ever had the garlic stuffed olives?
Oh yeah, delicious.
Oh, they're so good. Oh my god,
I love olives. I liked how how Perlin did not want to eat a pickled garlic. She was just like, and it was kind of like, are you one? Like they're like looking at her and stuff. They weren't sure, like that kind of.
And then
like
Slim started choking on his.
Yes, that was hilarious.
Like, I got through it. But anyway, so after this showdown, it shows all of them in there who took the pickled olive juice or whatever. And then as soon as it goes down, there's like a few people getting eaten on the table, and I'm like, who are they? Like they were just extras that thrown. It's on IMDb because I had to look it up.
Oh, okay,
I don't know what happened, but it's like they threw a couple of extras in there.
Why not?
Just to kind of stall the zombies out. But I'm like, who were they? I was like, no, she's over there. She's just got killed,
Yeah.
So anyway, it threw me off. I was a little pissed.
Those inside do what they can to fend off the vampires, but soon Grace Perlin and Annie fall. Before Annie gets turned, an emotional Smoke stakes her, per her request, in a valiant move. Slim sacrifices himself so Smoke can escape with Sammie, only for the two to be confronted by Remmick and Stack. Smoke attempts to deal with his brother while Remmick follows Sammie outside, attempting to turn him. Sammie does what he can to fight off the evil creature, eventually breaking his guitar over Remmick's head with a silver portion cutting into his head. Suddenly, Smoke appears and stakes Remmick, causing him to vanish in a pillar of flame.
Yeah, another rush part that I didn't like.
You would have liked the battle to be a little bit better.
Well, no, I just didn't like how it ended with Remmick getting stabbed by Smoke, who was up there fighting Stack.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Like if he escapes, that's fine. But like they're in the lake, and he's like Remmick is like baptizing Sammie. Like he dunks him like 3 times.
Oh yeah.
After they say the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
So like everybody's out there, like all the vampires are even at the edge of the lake, and they're all watching it. But then like all of a sudden, Smoke is there with a stake through the back, and I'm like, how
do you get through all those folks? Yeah.
Well, that and just like it felt like a cheap out. It was.
Would you have liked a battle scene like Art in Terrifier 2?
Maybe, no. No.
How long was that battle?
There's a pool. Like it follows where there's a pool and a bunch of wired
and they're just throwing appliances in. Yeah.
It was just a sucky ending to like a really good movie, or a sucky finish to the fight.
I wouldn't say it was sucky. It just felt rushed. But I mean, like it was 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I was like, okay, let's go ahead and wrap this.
You got to get there at some point.
Yeah. I mean, like if this movie was 3 hours, could it be 3 hours and people would watch it and like it? I wonder.
Man, I don't know. I thought it felt like 3 hours. I guess it was only 2:17, but dang. Yeah, I just remember I was like, we had another kid. Like we started it and like just a bunch of time passed. And like we finally finished it.
Smoke and Sammie have managed to survive until dawn and watch as the rest of the vampires burst into flames around them. Smoke gives Sammie the brother's car and instructs him to leave town before pulling equipment from his truck. Remmick had mentioned that Brett was the son of the local clan leader, and Smoke is fairly certain that the Grand Wizard and his followers are going to show up.
Hey, I totally forgot this guy existed until this point. But I think I remember when he said like, "Hey, that guy who sold us the juke joint is a clan member." I was like, "Oh yeah, that guy."
Yeah.
But then like I didn't know they were gonna have like a 10-minute shootout.
Well, he gave him a very like good warning. He was just like, if you or any of your guys ever come back here, I'm going to kill you. And I kind of like that he's like, I'm going to make sure that I live up to that, because he even said it in town. He goes, what would we be if we were two twins? We didn't live up to, you know what I mean? We just let these people walk around while getting over on us. So he's not going to let anybody do that to him. Which,
Smoke's not the one to let something like that slide.
Yeah. So sure. I love this scene. This is a really cool scene where all these people show up and he turns into Rambo.
Yeah, I took a little ambush from the forest there for a minute.
Has the old the Tommy gun and everything. Looks good. His hunch proves correct, as before long, Hogwood appears with a number of men ready to cause trouble. Removing Annie's mojo bag, Smoke ends up ambushing them, wiping the men out before he's shot fatally in the standoff. Just before he expires, Smoke sees Annie and their baby. During this time, Sammie returns to his family's church, where upon seeing his bloodied and damaged state, his father urges him to renounce his love of the blues. Instead, Sammie takes off in his brother's car, the remnants of his guitar clutched in one hand. Not his brother's car, it's his cousin's car, right?
Yeah, his cousin's car. Yeah, sorry, it's Deckham synopsis. But the shootout scene's okay. It felt extra to me, but I can understand how it fits in the movie. It just wasn't that horror that I was looking for, but yeah, really good. And it looked like I was reading one of the things or listening to something where it was like maybe Stack was in the barn still, and that's how he kind of got shielded from the sunlight.
Okay.
and that Smoke had locked him in there or something to keep him safe from the sunlight. Did you see that one?
I did not see that one.
That was on one of the things you sent me, I thought. But
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, it was one of those Easter egg type things, like maybe Smoke left him in there to not be burned alive outside or whatever with the other ones.
Interesting.
And that's why he's alive later. Him and Mary.
Huh. That is interesting.
Otherwise, like, what did they do? Did they just run off
Yeah.
together and without Remmick knowing or something?
Yeah. Well, there is no telling. And to be honest with you, I didn't know that there was a post-credit scene. I had to go back because I watched the credit. It was just him in the bar playing the blues, which we'll get to here in just a second. And then I was just like, okay, stop. And then I was like doing research. They're like the post-credit scene. I was like, oh shit, what was I thinking? Like all movies nowadays have post-credit scenes. This one has post-credit scenes. Did you watch both of them?
It was a pre, a mid, and a post credit scene. Like it was all three phases.
So I need to remember
during and after.
I don't know when's the last time you went to a movie, like in the movie theater, but
and like got up before the credits left.
So nobody does. So you can't anymore. You have to stay because it's like, when you go to a concert and you expect them to come back out to do a curtain call.
Encore action.
Encore curtain call. But so every movie you go watch now, you have to watch all of the credits because everybody does it now. But I forget sometimes. So when a movie ends, I'm like, and I just turn it off like an idiot. Yeah. But so anyway, there's a lot more to this. I do like how he takes off his mojo bag, which means that he kind of does believe in the stuff a little bit. He was acting like, he acted like he didn't believe
Maybe
it.
That would keep him alive or something.
Yeah. He was like, I'm going to take this off because I don't want to be alive. I want to go be with Annie. I want to be with my baby. Yeah. So I like that. He's trying to light a cigarette. He can't because he's shaking, right? Or he can't roll it.
Maybe it is him.
That's what it is. He can't roll. He can't roll the cigarette. So then he asks the guy who's on the ground, the Klansman. He goes, "Give me a cigarette." And the guy says a very mean and nasty phrase. But then he ends up giving him a cigarette anyway. And after he gives him a cigarette, he doesn't. He calmly just shoots him 15 times in the face. And then you see him like kind of dying, and you see Annie and her baby and his baby, and she goes, "Don't be smoking around the baby. I don't want no smoke around the baby." Where you can see him, he's dying, and he finally gets to hold his baby, which is a really cool scene, Chris.
Yeah, it's really sad. And even earlier when they're in the cabin together, just talking about stuff, you can see there's smoke around them. Did you notice that?
I did not notice that.
Right before he tenderly does what he does to her.
Yeah.
He when they're sitting there talking about everything, there's smoke going around them.
Interesting.
And so that's why, and that's another reason she's like, "Hey, don't bring smoke around the baby because, basically leave that part of you behind so it doesn't come over here or something."
Ooh,
like that.
I like that. It's like leaving the old life behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your gangster ways.
Time passes and it's revealed that Sammie became a famous blues musician. Following a performance in Chicago in 1992, Sammie's visited by Stack and Mary. Stack reveals that Smoke let him live as long as he left Sammie alone, and him and Mary escaped from the juke joint all those years ago before the sun rose. Stack also senses that Sammie is not long for the world, but he's about to die. But the old man refuses the offer to be turned. Stack also confesses that they have been following his career over the years and would like to hear something from the old days. Sammie gives in to their request, pulls out his restore guitar, and plays for them.
Yeah, so do you think, so this is kind of like we're about to get into the post and mid credits and stuff. Yeah. But like at the very end, at the very, very end, he's singing This Little Light of Mine. But then before that, it looks like it shows them driving off, and it's like it's either a callback to the beginning of the movie, or it could be the afterlife where Sammie did pass, and this is him like riding in the car, going to the juke joint, like the best days of their life.
Yeah.
That they wanted, like that's their afterlife. So, do you think it was that, or do you think it was just a callback?
I like that. I like that idea. Where did you hear? Where did you come up with that, or did you hear that?
No, it was one of the videos I was kind of watching. Man, maybe that's like them, Sammie circling back to maybe it's his afterlife, because it seemed like he was about to go. Like the vampire was like, "Hey, you're not long here."
Yeah.
do you want this gift or not? And he's
Yeah.
like, no. So then it seemed like if that was the end, maybe that's Sammy's afterlife where he's like about to be driving to the juke joint or whatever, having fun.
That is interesting. I didn't even look at it like that. You know, I looked at it, you know, especially when he was just playing This Little Light of Mine, but he's playing it in a blues way. It was kind of like saying, I don't have to have Christianity your way, Dad. You know what I mean? I can still have my blues, and I can still, you know what I mean? Like kind of thing. But yeah, but him having that day, you know, him mentioning that day was the best day of his life, or he had so much fun, you know, before all that happened. To me, obviously played by Buddy Guy, who is a Hall of Fame blues player.
Legend. Yeah.
Really cool that they got him. This post-credit scene, I'm not the biggest fan of this post-credit scene.
Sure.
Little hokey for me. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. Again, I was cool with just him being a blues player in 1992 and ending the film. I was fine with all that. And,
yeah, sure.
And just up in the air. But, yeah, I guess you get to find out that, you know, that he saved Stack in some type of way, you know.
Yeah.
And that they bought all of his records and all that stuff. I just didn't know that the vampires were capable of that kind of
emotion,
resilience. Not resilience, like being able to hold back like that and not, you know.
Yeah, no, that's right. Like the temptation of just gorging on his blood.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
They're just like, oh, well, since we promised Smoke, who's been dead for 50 years now, you know, we'll let you go.
Yeah. Is it because he held their lives in his hand with that stake, and so that's currency?
Right.
In
Yeah,
that
it's
type
one of those
world.
things. It's not explained, but it's kind of like too big of a plot hole to like just shrug off.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like you're like, I wish it would explained a little bit better there.
In a final parting moment, Sammie confesses that although he still has nightmares about that evening, up until the sunset, it was the best day of his life. Stack agrees, and it was the last time he saw his brother in the sun, and confesses that it was the only time that he felt truly free. That's a bit much, you know. We were there.
cheesy.
We were there for that night. You didn't seem truly free in that night. That night was hectic. You know what I mean? There was a lot. There
Maybe
was
he's talking about the day leading up to that, I think is what it said. It's like the day leading up to the sun going down was the best day of his life.
I think it's at the juke joint, right?
Yeah, it says nightmares about that evening up until the sunset. So like right as the sun went down and Remmick showed up, started going to shit. But before that, they were driving around town and playing for people and gathering up all their friends and stuff like that. Like
so that was the good parts.
That's the time they're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. I thought they were talking about them opening up the actual. I was like, actually, that was like, it didn't, like, that was very hectic.
Like it went south for you guys.
But not only that, like, it just seemed kind of hectic. It seemed like y'all were like not getting the money that you wanted to get, you know, like
Right.
you were just like,
Bunch of financial problems.
yeah.
and stuff.
Anyway, that was good. What's our next film, man? Sinners.
So next movie you have picked, The Empty Man from 2020, and I think I have slotted for Saw from 2004 after that. So
yeah, we'll need to get those two done so we can start hopping into sequel September and get those together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we'll pick up the pace a little bit here. We'll figure something out. But yeah, sounds good, man.
All right, man.
Hey, thanks everybody. I want to appreciate all y'all for listening. Go check us out on Instagram, TikTok, all the socials, Spotify, YouTube. We're on all of them. So go check us out and really appreciate you following. Give us a like and a share.
Thanks for listening, guys.